Hello, everyone. I hope you're all doing great. So I am back. My name is Julia Genoveva. I am the host of It's Gonna Get Artsy, and I cannot believe this is episode 11. So as you know, thank you. I do have my co-host, Gus Ferrari. Unfortunately, he cannot be here today because he's on set making a film and he's playing a boxer. So that's gonna be pretty cool when it comes out. So I am really excited to be here today with Sivan Ras and Gianna Vasquez Bartolini. We are going to talk about Needs More Productions, which I'm really excited to hear more about this amazing progressive theater company, and also about your current production of Antigone, which is a Greek tragedy. And from what I've been hearing, you put a modern spin on it. So welcome. Thank you so much for being on our podcast.
Thank you so much for having us. We're so
Yeah,
excited.
thank you.
My pleasure. I'm honored. So thank you. So let's dive in, please. I would love to hear about how Needs More Work Productions got started and what is the vision of the company.
Yeah, absolutely. So I can take this one. I'm the founder and current artistic director of Needs More Work Productions. So it's kind of my baby, this company. And really our tagline for the company is Theater for a Better Tomorrow. And I think that pretty much sums up what we're all about. We're a site-specific and immersive theater company based in New York City. And Theater for a Better Tomorrow is really about how we aspire to be very intentional in our choice of shows and plays and our choice of themes. Because I'm under the belief that theater isn't just entertainment. I mean, it could be, but for me, we as artists have such a big responsibility. I think theater is, I always say, it's the engine for social change. It's the most powerful tool, in my opinion, to kind of get social change in motion. And really the immersive and site-specific stems from that. So we strive to have shows that spark up conversations, that talk about social issues, about things we want to change or want to progress in our company. And the way I think is most both effective and exciting for myself to do that is via immersive shows, and through shows that have this discussion with the audience pretty much directly, right? You don't sit in the darkness and watch a show and then think about it on the train on your way home. You really have the opportunity to already be a part of the show as it goes on. So it's really taking that whole thing one step further. And that is also something that we have going on a lot in Antigone, which is our new production of Antigone.
Okay, so Antigone. So I love what you said about your company. I mean, for me, that's one of the reasons why I became an artist, because I think art is a great vehicle to open people's minds and expose them to new ideas. So, and I think the way that your company is doing it is very unique, and I really applaud you for that. That's wonderful. So how long has this company been around?
So we're actually pretty brand new. Our first production under a different name was last summer. In August, we did a production of Cyrano de Bergerac in Central Park. Then in October, we were a part of the amazing Climate Change Theater Action Festival, which is an international festival for climate change action, which I really recommend everyone check out. Next festival is 2025. And now this is our third show.
Oh my God, you're making so much progress. Congratulations. That is just wonderful. I know, being an artist is challenging. So anytime I feel like, I know people who are doing well, I'm just like, I feel so happy for them. So now take us into the world of this modern production of Antigone. Please tell us what it's about and how are you making this version different from the Greek tragedy? I know you said it's immersive. So then how is the audience involved in this, which sounds so much fun? And I am definitely coming to see the show because I feel like I am available one of the dates. So I will definitely be there. But really I just want the viewers to be brought into this world even before they see the show. So please tell us all about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I can start, and Gianna, please chime in when you feel appropriate. Um, but yeah, so Antigone really is two shows at once. So on the one hand, we have Antigone, which is the famous play everyone knows, or at least hopefully, because they'll be quite confused if they don't. Um, it's about, this young princess Antigone burying her brother, even though his burial was proclaimed illegal by the ruler of the city following a great war that happened. She decides to support what she views as justice and as godly justice and natural law and human rights, even in the face of everything that is law and human law, and the dictator rulership of her city, and she pays a great personal price. So that's the plot of Antigone. But in Antigone, we're also dealing with our second plot, which is about a modern acting troupe who is presenting Antigone to audiences in New York City in 2024. So it's not exactly us, but it's pretty much, right? It's pretty realistic. And really, as this modern acting troupe is trying to go through with the story of Antigone, they find it increasingly more and more difficult to stand by the very rigid society's values that are presented in this play, and the very rigid worldview and things that were written, 2,000 years ago, and they're not exactly as relevant today. And as we have a harder time continuing with the story, the more we need to find different solutions, which is where the audience comes in, and we have a little choose your own ending moment, in which you all hopefully can help us really match Antigone to 2024. There are some things I feel like we might be able to fix together. And that's what we're going to attempt to do. We're going to attempt to fix Antigone's ending.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I can't wait to see it. I love plays that involve the audience. I think that's really cool. And there's so much room to be like spontaneous, and kind of you have to just jump in, kind of like the unknown. So that sounds very exciting. And now, so this production does have like music, dancing, and singing. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes.
Which is why we have our amazing choreographer who we all loved working with.
Yes. So Gianna Vasquez Bartolini is the choreographer of this show. Hi, Gianna. Thank you for being here with us. So please.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, my pleasure. Please tell us about your vision and how you're incorporating your vision into the show.
Right. So I joined the project a little bit later. Sivan and I have known each other for a couple of years now, and we were chatting about it. I was like, oh, like let me see if I can like help you out with this. And then I became like invested in the project somehow, like immediately emotionally was invested. And then Sivan was like, do you want to be the choreographer? I was like, yeah, sure. So that's how I got involved. I have a background not only like as a choreographer, but as a performer and dancer. However, I feel like in theater, the intention of the choreography is not just to kick your face and look pretty, although sometimes that's nice. I feel like we can use choreography and use dance and movement to set the universe and like create the tone in which we want the audience to see and perceive the world we're creating. In this Greek tragedy, right? So if we like look at Greek theater, classical theater, the intention of the chorus is not just to do a little song and dance after everyone's done crying. Although, sometimes it is uplifting after a very sad moment to like jump in and like help people reconnect to the characters and get out of their own heads. I felt like this immersive opportunity was really like great in order for the characters to help move the story. And Sivan and I have talked a lot about it. Like in this production, the audience does move around the area. It's not just like you sit and you watch from your seat. Like we the actors will take the audience members around this area, and
Wow.
the chorus and the movement and choreography do have a large part in motivating and helping the audience kind of figure out where to go next. So that's kind of like one cool thing I thought about the choreography in this project. The second thing is I think it does help it stay true to that Greek intention. You know, like Sivan and our music director wrote this music, and we have dance, which is very traditional, what was actually happening in Greece when they did these productions. A lot of times now we don't see music and dance as a part of these tragedies, which I feel like, why did you forget about it? Just because, you know, they didn't write their music, like we can't record it in 2000, 3000 years ago, whatever. So it's like been forgotten to history. So why not be true to the intention of the work which was created, and add this movement? I think if people come to see this a production, it's not dancing in the traditional sense that we think of dancing, because again, like I said, in theater, sometimes that's not serving the story, and everything that we do as like creative people in the field, as people behind the table, has to be to serve the story. Otherwise it's like, for what, self-serving? So really, I mean, honestly, that's how I feel. Like if you're just making it look cute to make yourself feel good, then you're not serving the story. You have to really do your best to, I don't know, push it forward with the movement and the music.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. I feel like, you know, being authentic is very important.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're doing something just to look cute, or I don't know, if there is no deep intention within whatever you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
um then why do it in a way,
Yeah,
you know?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, Gianna, and I think it's really clever that the whole production, you're all taking traditional things from the Greek tragedy, things that some people may not know. Like you're saying, there used to be dance and music in Greek tragedies. Maybe some people don't know that. And the fact that you're bringing awareness to it, fast forward to 2014, and adding that there, I think it's really wonderful. And I love that you're still combining that along with your own like interpretation and everyone's vision in this project. So that is truly, truly wonderful. I'm just curious about both of your careers. How did you start in this entertainment world, theater world? And also, Savan, what inspired you to create this theater company?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have done theater since I was like, I think 6 was my first like theater class in school. So I took a lot of acting after school classes. Very early on, I began to be interested in directing. I think ninth grade was kind of my pivotal moment in
Oh
terms
my
of
God.
directing. So I was always kind of on the, you know, it was on the back burner, this entire thing. I was always interested in it. I was always, there's just this week, my uncle sent a video of me in like, at like 4 singing along to the Hunchback of Notre Dame,
Oh
like
my
in musicals
God.
on TV, and then telling him to stop filming, at the very end there. But yeah, and really, as I moved to high school and decided to major in theater, and after high school, when I began to try to get into some musical theater colleges, I was very much knowing this was going to be my career. There's actually a very fun story because I had a little debate in terms of what should I major in high school, because I was torn between the theater program and the robotics program, of all things, very
Oh my
different.
God. What a
Um,
conflict.
yeah, and then the senior plays happened, and it was a really great year when I was in ninth grade, and the senior plays happened, and they actually had an adaptation of Antigone playing. And I was so jealous. Everyone were so good, and I was so jealous, and I knew that I couldn't possibly sit there when I'm a senior and not be on stage, and know that all my friends are on stage. And I went to study robotics instead. Um, so it's kind of a full circle moment to go back to Antigone for me this year, to the thing that started it all. And yeah, and I went to musical theater college, together with Gianna. That's how we met. We're both AMDA alumni. And when I graduated college, I'm not from the US, and I grew up on a lot of the European theater traditions. And when I graduated college and started auditioning, and applying as a director to shows in the US, I really noticed that there is a large difference between the type of theater I grew up doing and I want to do, and the type of theater that is currently, let's say, more trendy in US commercial theater. I'm noticing a lot of trends of, like, new play development, realism, kitchen dramas, which lots of respect to all these genres, and I really do enjoy doing them. But when I have my little inkling wanting to do immersive, site-specific, classic plays, there really are only a handful of companies doing that. And I really felt like I shouldn't be sitting around and waiting to get hired by one of the handful of companies. I felt like I know what I wanted to do, and I also felt like there is a certain, I know many companies who do outside Shakespeare, right? And I know many companies who do this immersive interactive theater of the oppressed thing that we are doing. And I know a lot of companies that do activism-based theater. However, combining all three, I have yet to encounter. And if you know one and you're watching, please email me, because I'd love to see more people do that type of theater. I'm a very enthusiastic audience member. I promise I'll come, I'll clap, and I'll participate. But I have yet to see a company that does this sort of combination, which I truly believe is unique and has a lot. I think there's a lot we can discover with exploring myths that have been so pivotal in our society for so many years. And that's part of why we selected Antigone this year. I went and talked to people and I was like, what play do you feel like you need to see today? And many people said Antigone and gave me reasons. And some of the reasons weren't even what's really happening in the play Antigone, right? Which I thought was interesting. So I think that something about exploring these very old traditions and very old archetypes in a new light and in this immersive light is very unique and fun and interesting for me to kind of sink my teeth in, which is why I love all the work we do. It needs more work.
And I'm just curious, like, what was one of the reasons that you got?
So a lot of people, well, I knew I wanted to do a Greek play for several reasons, like a Greek tragedy, and I asked people around, and I got a lot of Antigone from all sorts of people, from theater, scholars, and just people on the street. I had 2 months where I was walking around and asking people about Greek plays while I was trying to decide. And I think Antigone is one of the most famous, if not the most famous Greek tragedies. It's pretty much this and Oedipus Rex. But a lot of the people who were telling me they want Antigone, and I asked, oh, really, why? And I got a lot of reasons about how feminist this play is and about how we need this young, rebellious woman today, which surprised me, because when you read Antigone and read scholars talking about Antigone, she's not the character you want to be like. The play doesn't, Sophocles, from his perspective as the playwright, doesn't exactly favor Antigone's actions. He disfavors both Antigone and Creon. And there's a saying about how the middle between these two extreme people is probably the golden path, and the fact that they both remain at their extremes is in both of their detriments. So people having this view of Antigone as this feminist hero is very interesting, because I'm wondering, is it people who haven't necessarily read the play and have heard about it through modern culture and what modern culture did to this play? Or are these people who read the play in very modern eyes and do see Antigone as a hero from our modern set of values, even though she wasn't perceived that way in ancient Athens? So these are very interesting conversations, and especially with our additional plot of the actors who are putting on Antigone, And we've worked a lot with Katie, who's the actress who's playing Antigone, who her character, which we kind of all wrote together, is that she's really believing that Antigone is right and Antigone is an important play with an important lesson. So we had a lot of conversations about this notion and how close it is to the play, and is there a way to interpret the play in a way that supports this, or if not, what do we need to change when we select our new ending to make Antigone the hero? And we've had many interesting ideas and no answers, which is why you all have to come in and vote for the ending. Maybe we'll figure out an answer together.
Amazing. This is very thought-provoking to think about Antigone and, you know, how she was written and what this character mean for people today. Yeah, I feel like it can make for conversations on many different views. You know, maybe some women identify with her, or there could be some critique to the character too. So I think your production definitely opens the doors to like an interesting and very like provocative conversation, which is really what theater is all about. And before, you know, we asked this question to Gianna too about how she got into this industry. So when the audiences watches the show, do they select the end? Like, are there options for the ending that you give them?
It all comes from you. I mean, we do have a backup plan in case people are really shocked by our, you know, questioning of them. So fear not. If no one will have idea, we'll suggest things. But we're really hoping to be surprised. It really, well, it's not, you know, the thing about this ending is that it's not just something we selected for fun. Let's change Antigone's ending. This pivotal moment of the vote of the audience suggesting endings, and then we do a vote, democratic vote, very appropriate to ancient Athens, and select. It all comes after we've already been through an hour of discussion while watching the play and while watching the plot of the actors responding to the play. And we've hopefully managed to flood to the surface a few of the problems we feel we have with the original play, or at least our fictional actor characters have with this play. So it's, you know, if you have just an ending you always wanted to see, apropos of nothing, come and suggest it and we'll have fun. But hopefully some of the endings that will be offered will stem from you all sitting down there and thinking about the questions we raised and really us trying to solve it together. I don't know, will we manage to solve Antigone? It's a very big question for me. And this entire mechanism actually comes from Theater of the Oppressed, which is a lovely theater philosophy by Augusto Boal. I was so inspired reading the book and diving into it for this production. And it's called simultaneous dramaturgy, this technique. It's a technique where the audience rewrites the scene live in real time as it is being performed by the actors. And the context in which this technique was developed in Theater of the Oppressed is in order to explore different solutions to social problems, right? So there is some sort of social problem. When Augusto Boal invented this technique, it was very realistic day-to-day social problems, like our manager at work overworks us in very long days. We need to solve this problem. And then people would start suggesting all these different solutions, and the actors would act out these solutions to see how it goes. And many times, a solution that sounds good on paper, as soon as we started developing it in a scene, you discover there are some very unexpected issues. For example, in the example I just gave, you know, we all quit, but then, oh no, we don't have a job, right? So this technique was actually developed to have a very realistic conversation about what ways we can use to solve the problem. So we really hope that we can use the same technique, even though it's not a problem from our day-to-day lives exactly. It's more of an example of a problem that a citizen can have against the ruling classes. But we hope that this discussion will be able to explore different solutions for Antigone, which people might be able to use in their personal lives when they come into a conflict regarding power. And if they aren't able to use it in their lives, maybe now they know why, and they're able to select other solutions that maybe fit them more.
Great. I mean, I love work or, whether it's a film or plays that make me think. So I think that's what you're definitely doing with this production. So Gianna, please tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into this entertainment / theater world.
Sure. So, since I was very little, I was a ballet dancer, and I studied until I was 21 to be a ballet dancer. And I moved to New York when I was 17, and I studied at SUNY Purchase in the Conservatory of Dance with the intention of becoming a ballerina. However, when I got there, first of all, I realized that the school was very postmodern. So, like, I did no research. My parents did not, like, they supported me, but they did not guide me through this process. So, I got there being like, I'm going to be a ballet dancer. When I arrived, I realized the program is very postmodern. And a lot of what, we were encouraged to do there was this like site specific, improvisational, immersive types of works. And to be very honest, like at the time when I was studying there, I was not mature enough. I wasn't like ready to accept these other pieces of theater and dance the way that they were presented to me. So I did resist it. And I, I continued with my ballerina dreams. And then the pandemic, woo, and I realized, you know what, actually ballet is really sad. It like makes me very sad. And I would rather, go into more theater, musical theater, and that's where Sivan and I met. I went to AMDA. I was very lucky, I received generous financial aid from them, and I was able to go. And while I was there, I started, learning more about theater itself. In high school, like Sivan was saying, I was very into theater. I did a lot of Shakespeare. I actually like did many Shakespeare festivals. I just like blocked
I
them
love
out.
Shakespeare.
I know, but like I have like, connection to like classical works, and I did some acting, and bringing that all back together during musical theater school kind of helped me develop this passion for like telling a story. And as I've been in New York, I've been teaching a lot and choreographing a lot for students, for like high schoolers, realizing that maybe I want to do this more for adults and like professionally become like a choreographer, director, kind of creative person, creative director of some kind. I've been very lucky in my performing career. I've worked quite a bit in the past few years since I finished school, both like acting and dance, musical theater things. So that's like where I am right now. I'm like doing a really cool play right now in the Catskills. I'm like my first play where I have lines, so I'm very excited. But
congratulations!
Yeah, thank
awesome.
you.
Oh
Thank you. So like that's, I've been starting to explore this kind of like more theatrical, literal storytelling. But with Sivan, we've wanted to work together, and we're working on developing a project in the coming months that has to do a lot with like disability and how the world perceives how you perceive yourself, and like how gender is perceived through that lens. So we were talking a lot about that when this opportunity to hop onto the Antigone project kind of appeared. And it's been definitely a collaboration between the two of us. Like, I'm gonna be like very honest, like everything that we've done has been together. I've not just like been like, okay, this is what's happening. Like, this is the part that I like, is like the working together with like Sivan as the director, and like kind of like who created this music and these lyrics in a way, like through the translations, like working together to tell these stories. And as a choreographer and dancer, even as a performer and choreographer director, like that's my main goal, and that's what I love to do. Yeah, so that's that's me. Right now I'm like very lucky to be working also as like assistant director of an organization called Westchester Dance Artists, which we bring dance education to auctioning in an affordable and equitable way. So, you know, I get to spread my seeds equally in a lot of things that make me very happy.
Wow, that's so impressive, Gianna.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
on all your
Thank you.
accomplishments. And
Thank
yeah, that's really wonderful. You ladies are both in the right track. Savon, you as well. You have very successful careers, and it's great that have Needs More Work Productions to also expand and create opportunities for other artists as well. I also do love collaboration with my own company, Genoveva Productions, and it's all about collaborating, because I think when you collaborate, it just sparks more and more ideas, or maybe more like everyone thinks, oh, this is great. And then you just like each person's view like enriches that one idea. So I am all about collaboration. So on that note, I hope everyone comes to see Antigone by Needs More Work Productions. I'm so excited about this show. I wish you all the best. I know it's going to be successful. You're going to have a full house. I will definitely be there because I am so curious about the whole immersive experience and the dancing and the music and lyrics and just the whole like modern spin on it of Antigone. Now it's Antigone, so I cannot wait. I want to let you all know the performance dates. So it's Friday through Sunday, July 12th, 13, 14, 19, 20, 21st. And it's from 5:30 to 7 p.m. And it's performing at the Moore Jackson Community Garden, which is 31-57 51st Street, Woodside, Queens, New York, 11377. And I've been to Woodside and the commute is so easy. I think it literally takes like 10 or 15 minutes. You just go to Times Square, you hop on the 7, it's like 6 or 7 steps and you're there. So it's so easy.
We're right off the R. This community garden is right off the R.
Oh.
So anyone who can get to Times Square can get to us very, very easily. And it's also free admission. So please, anyone who wants to see is invited. We wanted to have no barriers, no financial barriers in people's way to see this show.
Wonderful. There is a link. I will post it below. I know there is a suggested donation, which, it's very generous for people that want to contribute. That way, your production company can keep thriving and bring in more of these very thought-provoking, amazing plays. So congratulations, Savon and Gianna, on all your accomplishments, and to the cast and everyone involved with the production. I think it's going to be a very fun, productive, and successful run. I just have a feeling about it. So thank you for taking time out of your busy schedules to be on It's Gonna Get Artsy. I really appreciate it. This conversation was beyond. It was great. It's very thought-provoking, and I feel like that's what being an artist and theater or film too, it's a vehicle to get people to think. It's a vehicle to expose or bring awareness to different views. I think that's really important.
Thank you so much.
Julia.
It's been such a pleasure to be on this show, and looking forward to seeing you in our performances. I'll be there. So
Yes, I'll be there, and I hope down the line, who knows, we'll collaborate on something together.
I was gonna say,
Amen to
let's
that.
So thank you all for watching. And if you would like to get notification of upcoming episodes, please click on the subscribe button. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much.